Before I get into today's video, remember to follow me on Twitter. So my Twitter, the link is in the description below. You can also find me. My handle is @JacksonKruger. Come over, say hi, and anyways, back to your regularly scheduled video. All right, let's talk about this. I wasn't really going to get into it, but you know what? Stuff has been made of it, so let's talk about kind of the ending of this Cardinals game, and basically, did the Arizona Cardinals blow it? And there's mainly two things we have to talk about. The first of which is this 4th down and 1 decision. Currently where the Cardinals are at is the 37-yard line. And, you know, there's 5 minutes and 24 seconds left. You have 2 timeouts. So the idea is, hey, you kick a field goal here. You can get the ball back, score a touchdown, and, you know, either go for 2 or try to win it in overtime. And the commentators, I'll be honest, I kind of... all the ESPN commentators sound the same to me, so I don't know which one it was. I apologize for that. But one of the commentators was very not happy with this decision. However, I actually think it makes some sense. You look at the 4th down decision bot, which is one of the best Twitter accounts on on Twitter. What you see here is this says that it's a strong recommendation to go for it in this situation, which seems a little bit surprising, but actually does kind of make some sense when you think about it. For one thing, you actually have a better chance of converting to 4th and 1 than you do kicking the field goal, although this is kind of where if you're an anti-analytics person, you might disagree with that and say, well, not really, because you have Matt Prater. Matt Prater is not getting factored into this data, which, again, some people say that's why you shouldn't use the analytics. To me, that's why I say, no, you should look at the analytics, but you don't have to follow it 100% every single time. Although it should be mentioned that I looked at Matt Prater's career field goal attempts from 50-plus yards, and it's actually 74%. It's a little bit higher than 74%. If you round it up, it would be 75%. It's 74.7%. So it's virtually the same as your chances of succeeding if you go for the 1st down here. And again, the point of football is not to just try and, tie the game. It's not to get down 1 score. The point of football is to win the football game. And so according to this, you do have a better chance of winning if you convert on this 4th and 1 than if you kick the field goal. And with the numbers being relatively even, I think I would lean towards going for it, but you could argue field goal. This is one of those decisions to me where I think you could make a legitimate argument for either side. I don't think it's a bad decision one way or the other. It's easy to say, well, they lost, so it was a bad decision, but obviously that's not exactly how that works. Arizona would eventually fail to get it here, and again, maybe you could also factor in, hey, the running game hadn't been working too well, so that's another aspect here. But again, I think reasonable minds can differ here. That's kind of my argument on it, and I think that when we're talking about decisions that are really so close, it comes down to, well, just convert on the 4th down and 1. That's the bigger error here. The next play that I'm going to present, the next thing that people are talking about is this one. So it's a 3rd down and 9. There's 1 minute and 6 seconds left. Arizona has no timeouts, still down 10 points. So the idea is simple. You score some points here, you kick a field goal or score a touchdown, whatever. You're down 1 score. Hopefully you get the onside kick and can try this again. I've always kind of been a bit in the camp of, hey, sometimes just kick the field goal early, but in this situation, I like the idea of going for it, trying to get the 1st down and keep going. But what you don't want to do is take a sack right here, right? Because that's just going to take some time off the clock. Once this play begins, Kyler looks upfield and doesn't like what he sees, and there is this gap that he can run through. So we could sit here and say this is a bad decision for Kyler to run. I think that's, again, knowing the outcome, it makes some sense to say that. But in this spot, I see why he's trying to do this. I see why he's not just throwing the ball away here, because if he gets out of the pocket, maybe he gets the 1st down, maybe they get a touchdown, and then the final drive is a lot easier. So, again, it's a lot easier to say that they made the wrong decision after we know the outcome of their decision. When you have to make it before then, you just got to go with what's the best option. So this is another one of those, in my opinion. I don't have a strong take on this, and I think that's okay. Sometimes you can say, either way, you can make the argument for it. Kyler is going to try and scramble out, and as you see, it just, it's a great tackle. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. A lot of guys have struggled in tackling Kyler in that situation, so that's, to me, the way I think about it is how many times does that work out and end up being a positive? It's more than 50%. So I would probably say I'm fine if Kyler trying to make that move. I'm rarely going to be in a position where I tell Kyler Murray not to run with the football. It just didn't work out. And then finally, this play so to set the stage again, Kyler scrambling, he's going to throw it to James Conner. I'll pause it right here. So 18 seconds left. It's going to be a second down and something, second down and medium, but that doesn't really matter because you have no timeouts left and it's a rolling clock. So basically at this point, you want to run up, you want to spike the ball, and you want to throw the ball deep. That's just what everyone is thinking right here. That's what you logically should do. And while the other two I've kind of said I see both sides, and again, to reiterate, I probably would have gone for it, and I probably would have let Kyler run out of the pocket, even though both of those two things didn't end up working out. This one, I just think there's zero excuse for. I don't know what happened here. Look, they actually got to the ball pretty quickly. I mean, Conner, by the way, James Conner was hurt on this play, and he was kind of hobbling just to get up so he could be set. So give him some credit of not trying to make sure he doesn't hurt his team. Although I believe the 10-second runoff would have, actually been a better thing in hindsight. But at the time, you don't know. You got to just get up and try to make something happen. You don't know when they'll officially start their 10-second runoff. So doing his best just to get up and run another play. It looked like a couple of Cardinals were lined up in the neutral zone on top of this, which isn't great because that would have been a penalty that would have just killed the clock. Because if you have a penalty like that, trying to get set with a rolling clock in this situation, it's a 10-second runoff. So that's not good on top of this. But also, I want you to watch the offensive line. Watch how they react, especially the left side of the offensive line. Look, they basically don't even react whatsoever. And even, several Rams players, like Aaron Donald, who's going to eventually get the sack on this play, he didn't react at the beginning because he thought it was just going to be a spike. It ends up not being it. Here's what I suspect happened was I suspect they had two play calls because there was a decent amount of time when that first play started. There was about, a little over 25 seconds left, but the play just lasted a while and took them a while to get up. So I think by the time that this happened, it just wasn't worth running the second play and you have to spike it. And Kyler just, in the heat of the moment, didn't think of that, which, again, it's easy to sit here in hindsight, while we're watching on YouTube and saying, oh, what a dumb decision by Kyler. It is one of those things, though, that when you're actually in the moment, sometimes you make dumb mistakes, but it was a dumb mistake. And I'm sure that if he had a little bit more time to think about it, he wouldn't have made it. But, that's what I think. Kind of interesting stuff. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you. And of course, as always, thanks for watching.